and welcome to Wednesday's Target in Focus. I'm joined on the line by Martin Lykke, CEO at NPFOREX, to discuss his views and forecasts for the US dollar against the rupee, the US dollar against the Japanese yen, and the US dollar against the Chinese yuan. Hello, Martin. The Indian Rupee weakened on Tuesday as dollar demand from oil firms and gold importers looking to meet month-end import commitments waned. With this in mind, what are your short, mid and long-term projections for the Indian Rupee US dollar?
I think the Indian Rupee will have low fluctuations against the American dollar in the next year. I think we will see a short-term strengthening of the US dollar, but on the longer term, I see the Indian Rupee get stronger against the dollar. I see that due to the structure of high growth in India, political reforms in India and so on, and that will make the Indian Rupee stronger against the dollar in the longer term. But having said that, the economy in India is highly influenced by politicians, and there are some different reforms that has been announced that can influence the capital inflow. So this currency pair is highly influenced by politicians and how they want to structure the economy in India.
The yen sank to multi-month lows against the dollar on Monday as sources say the Bank of Japan is leaning towards easing monetary policy when it meets next week. What are your short, mid and long-term forecasts for the Japanese yen against the dollar?
Bank of Japan has for a long time tried to weaken the yen against the dollar. And it seems now that they are having a bit of success with their policy. And it has been flirting with the 80 level against the US dollar. I think that it will be around that level for the next 1 to 3 months. And then afterwards, the yen will weaken again against the US dollar. So we will have a level around 82 within a year. But the dollar and the yen, that currency pair is really stable and has been for a long time. For the last 6 months, it has been very stable, and I don't see any changes in that. But there will be a tendency to a weaker yen against the US dollar. So, and Bank of Japan will keep pushing for the dollar to strengthen against the yen.
And what are your short, mid and long-term projections for the Chinese yuan versus the dollar, and why?
It's very interesting what is happening in China at the moment. They have a new leadership taking over. The old leaders of the Communist Party will start to hand over power to younger colleagues. That happens every decade. And we are in China is in a transition mode at the moment. That's why I don't think that new government will try to experiment with the Chinese yuan against the dollar in the next year. There will certainly be a demand from the Americans to weaken the dollar against the Chinese currency. And I think that the dollar will weaken a bit against the Chinese currency within the next 12 months. But new leaders in China will not start to experiment with the currency pair. And I also think that there can come out some bad news about the economy in China in the coming months. I think, again, like the rupee, in the longer term, the Chinese currency will definitely strengthen against the dollar, no doubt about that. But I don't see any revolution within the next 12 months.
Which currency pair is the strongest and which is the weakest in your view?
The weakest must be the dollar against the rupee, because the politicians in India have such a high influence on capital flows, that new reforms can have a huge impact on that currency pair. And the most stable on the other side, as I see it, is the dollar against the yen. It has been really stable, and I see no change in that.
Thanks for joining me, Martin. Well, that's all we've got time for right now, but stay tuned to Dukascopy TV for more updates and interviews. For now, though, goodbye.